Pick a card, Family Tree Explosively. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you at your reading. Hi friends, my name is Crystal with Psychic MD, and I'm here to do another Pick a Card reading. So I want to let you know this reading is not going to be for the lighthearted. We're going to go ahead and explore a little bit about your history and anything that basically wound up being a catalyst or is being a catalyst, something that is explosive to be able to help you on your journey. So we will be ending on a positive note, but it's going to be important to understand all of the ins and outs as much as we can during a little reading here about what transpired and what is transpiring and how you're transforming. So this reading is called Family Tree Explosively, but it's not restricted to family only, okay? So with that being said, this is pile 1. We've got the Queen of Swords. Pile number 2, we've got the Magician. And pile 3, we have the 10 of Wands. Take a look. You might be drawn to a couple of different ones. And we'll see you at your reading. Hi, pile 1. Welcome to your reading, Family Tree Explosively. So, first of all, you are being represented by the Queen of Swords. And actually, I did want to apologize for the lighting in here. I usually film at night, but here we are. So, the Queen of Swords is representing pile 1, as well as what I did not tell you is TNT. So obviously let's start with the Queen of Swords. She is definitely armed to the hilt. This granny is nobody to be messed with. There's also, I would say, a little like booby trap. I'm not sure exactly what that's called. I don't think it's a booby trap, but it's a trap nonetheless. And this person's like settled. She is not going anywhere. She's relaxed. She likes her role. She is, I heard, well informed, but she's also well equipped to handle any business that comes her way. I also feel like this Queen of Swords is well served because she doesn't need to get up. I feel like those drinks were brought to her. She could really enjoy her drink. No judgment there. But this is somebody who is willing to kind of weaponize their intellect, utilize their words, and be tricky as well. They can also utilize your words to be able to ensnare you in a trap of their making. This person, although they're intellectual, they really think that they are smarter than everyone. So this can resemble a family member specifically, or somebody you call family, or it can resemble an overall characteristic of many people in your life. For example, like a family of attorneys or doctors or a compilation thereof. So it could be a lot of really intellectual people with degrees who really idolize their smarts, for lack of a better way of saying it. But also they just weaponize everything and they're ready to lay trap, to find out truths, to uncover, to discover, to hold you over a barrel, so to speak. So if this sounds like your upbringing, let me tell you a little bit more. That we can do an energy check. I do have the Page of Cups here. And if you look at his face, let's see if we can zoom in. The Page of Cups is, I mean, this person's standing amid like destruction. And this person is holding an apology. They're holding a cup with a fish growing out of it. But they're kind of like, well, I guess, do I need to apologize? It's another, I feel like what this bred within pile number 1 is maybe some like retaliation, some toxic behavior, or placating by words. Just saying, yeah, you know, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Okay, let's move on from it. Not really wanting to deal with things, not wanting to, I heard man up. So it could be that you're an adult dealing with things in a childish manner thus far, or using words that you know are just going to put a band-aid on the situation, but you know overall that it's not going to fix anything. Now, I was looking into a little bit of TNT and other explosive material, and I think, you know, TNT says is an actual compound, so This is interesting to me because it's just kind of like one thing, but one thing that's like very, very powerful. So I'm going to suggest that there is a compound in your life or in your history that has kind of overshadowed everything, and that you've kind of reacted and behaved in a similar fashion with, placating to get what you want. Or I think of an episode I just watched the other day about a girl, I think it was like Longest Third Date or something like that lied to everybody about everything in order for her to have her freedom and do what she wanted. It's that type of behavior. So I'm going to say that maybe you were meant to feel like whatever it is that you're doing, or how you're doing it, how you're thinking, is just not good enough, or it's not not meeting the standards, not meeting the status quo. Wow. Yeah. And considering that the swords, because we're looking at the Queen of Swords as communication, you could feel like perhaps you don't string words together the same as everyone else in your family. So you're not speaking quite the way they want you to speak. You're not saying things in the manner that they expect them to be said. You can kind of stutter or kind of be left grappling for things to say in the presence of this energy. So we're mainly looking at energy. It could be a person, of course. It could be a matriarch of your family. But anyone who basically sees things that they want to weaponize. What else? Yeah, so there's a great need for temperance right here. And I feel like you've had a very difficult time finding balance within this dynamic, this family dynamic. If this describes yours, I feel like also you are cut from a different mold. With temperance, I feel like you could be a healer. So you could be a healer of the family. And, not saying that anyone is perfect. Healers are not perfect. But it's definitely important to note that you were meant to be separated and separate from them. And with this person putting her foot in the water right here, and of course with the classic mixing of the waters, I feel like you are here to bring alchemy into the situation, alchemy into your own life, but also to affect those around you. With the white threads that she's wearing, I feel like this has to do with your spiritual connection, and even the triangle here is of higher learning. So I definitely feel like you are not made, like we were not created equally, is what I'm hearing. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to fit these cards here. And again, sorry about the lighting, but here we are. It is what it is. So you're definitely meant to be different. What else do we need to know? I'm using the Ghetto Tarot. It's pretty cool. It's a cool deck. If you're into that, you might want to research it. It's a deck that they basically ask people to bring whatever it is they have within their home or surroundings in order to create the visuals here. So for pile number 1, the TNT. So your compound is totally different than those of your family. And you're meant to be, look at that. You're meant to be the polarization factor here. You're meant to be different. You're meant to stand out. You're not meant to submit under this. And, and again, I mean, when you're growing up, that's one thing. I get that. But once we're older and we have, a say-so in how we do things or what we do. I don't like the way that lighting is. It's making me kind of crazy. Then more is expected. And I think more is expected from us spiritually, from spirit, not just from people. But we do definitely affect people. Okay, so I heard dipping my toes back into the fray. And what I'm looking at, oh goodness, this is so fun. This is so fun, you guys. Maybe I'll get a cover for this window. Anyways, yeah, so I feel like based on all the material that you've been given, it's been meager. You haven't been given a lot of tools. You haven't been given a lot of knowledge or support, a lot of role models. I feel like you've been working with the bare minimum. I mean, even this little tub that she's dipping her foot into, and looking at the back of the tin walls. I think of the tin roofs and how beautiful they sound when the rain hits them. But I feel like you've had to make do with what you have. And I feel like a lot of you guys are spirit taught, by the way. Now, with the High Priestess is a phenomenal card as well as a Temperance, because I feel like you have not only learned alchemy, but you've also become the High Priestess. You have become someone that maybe you have higher insight into spirit. You're closer to spirit. And I feel like this could be because you were not maybe close to anyone necessarily in your family. It could have been like abandonment things where you were left behind by one parent, both parents. Maybe your grandparents raised you. Maybe perhaps you were abandoned by your father and he went off and married somebody else and forgot his first family. I mean, everybody's situation is going to be different as I'm reading for different people. I didn't realize how thin that card is. That's what that is. Okay. Well, anyways, so I feel like maybe once upon a time you kind of embrace like spirituality, religion, or whatever it is in order for you to feel grounded, to feel connected to spirit, and to feel like you have something to stand on. I feel like you could have been walking on landmines most of your life, or growing up, you could have been walking along those landmines hoping that you would not detonate them. And that's because all of your surroundings, pretty much, I feel like they were not safe. I feel like there was an effort that you had to do to pretend that you were something that you were not, that you were part of this village, right? Because if you're not a part of this village, then what does that mean? You're an outcast. But no matter how much this person tries to be a part of the village outwardly, you know, even the face tells me that you didn't believe it, or you're not buying it, or something about it just is fishy, haha, because of the card, or odd. I feel like you could have been outcast or set aside as, I heard somebody simple. Yeah, so you could have been viewed as somebody who is not the sharpest tool in the shed when you were growing up. But what they didn't know is that all of these things, these hardships, these heartaches, and the things that really kind of were pressing you down, the lack of tools, made you really be somebody who can work with little, and get your downloads from spirit, and get your energy and your confidence from something higher than the 3D, higher than a diploma and a degree and letters behind your name, higher than a title and dollars in your bank account, and even higher than the opinions of people and how you're viewed, and you know, how you're esteemed within a family unit, things like that. So let's see. I'd like to know, because I feel like with the morphing of this TNT, it's going to be important, because TNT is natural compound. It can quickly change from a solid into a hot expanding gas or gases. So I feel like this could have infiltrated your life, and like wherever you go, you could kind of smell it, if for lack of a better word. So you're able to smell when things are quite toxic, when things are not balanced, not fair. And maybe that has made you, in some ways, look for social justice, or work on humanitarian projects and take on the logistics of that and see if you can incorporate that into your life. I feel like your passions are really quite different from people in the 3D. Like, they're not the norm. They're not like, oh, I really want this title, this position. I'm going to be, you know, the CEO of this company. And those things within itself are not bad. They're definitely not bad. We all need to put food on our tables. But I will say that that's not something that calls to you on an emotional level. That's not what kind of a compound you are. And so even though we've, you know, had to have jobs, obviously, to, you know, feed our families and things like that, I feel like your spiritual calling is much higher. Now, I did have the jumping card right here. I just was kind of mixing as I was talking and channeling. And I'm looking at this, and it's like the King of Cups. And this is somebody who has been through all the phases of the cup suit. And you know, the cup suit to me is like in love with love. And I love love. That's great. But I also have a wound of people falling for the new shiny. And so it could be one of those things where this person has gone through like different, you know, different relationships, and they kind of like jump ship when something new, shiny, and pretty kind of walks by. And you know, drowning in emotion is the feeling that I get from this card. And so I feel like this could be you, or this could be someone around you. That, keep in mind, this is like not for specific reading. This is just a general. So if you wanted a personal reading, let me know. You can message me and we can go from there. Those I like to film and provide you with a private link, by the way. So what else do we need to know about this? How did this expand into your life? I'd like to know. So I feel like you could have been like drowning in your own emotions a lot of the times because you felt like you didn't have an outlet, or it was unacceptable to express what it is that you needed to express. Why? Because your upbringing is, well, that's not, that's not right. You're totally wrong about that. You have always been emotional. You're oversensitive. I feel like there was a lot of gaslighting in your wake. And so now, consequently, I feel like maybe you repress your feelings, your emotions to the point where sometimes we could have what I call leakage. And no, that doesn't have to do with adult diapers, by the way. We'll talk about this in a minute. But you could have leakage of emotion. Like if we're not processing trauma properly, if we're not crying and letting things out, which I am notorious for this. I hate crying. Then we could start, crying at inappropriate times. And let's say you're at work and all of a sudden, you get teary-eyed, or you are having a battle with your emotions in a different setting. And that's because we're not processing things in a safe place where we need to, where we should. And even if you currently have a safe place, part of the gases in your life, the expanding hot gases in your life, could be that you're carrying kind of like that memory, or you're still conducting yourself in that form of programming that you, even though you have a safe space, you don't utilize it as a safe space. You act like there is a toxic air around you that makes you repress your feelings once again, your emotions once again. So I feel like there's a need to examine that. So obviously while I was channeling, the star came out here. And I want to tell you that Spirit recognizes the difficulty that you've been through, that you've gone through. Sometimes I'm hearing like, I question like why I was born, why, you could have questioned like why you were born. You could have had some attempts, if that is a very serious thing. And again, I'm not a therapist. You definitely want to get the help that you need. Plenty of help out there, please. You're definitely needed. If you're created, you're definitely needed in this life. So don't doubt that. But I feel like you could have had a lot of like self-doubt, self-worth issues and things like that, simply because you were like minimized or tried to be hammered into a vessel that you just are not. Okay. And I feel like that had to come to head, and that has since exploded, or is in the realm of being exploded currently, meaning you're going to leave that situation, leave that partner, or you emotionally, mentally, spiritually checked out, or all of the above, or this says your past history and roots, which is my original intention. So I want to tell you again that Spirit says that I see your battles, I have seen your struggles, I've heard your cries, even if you're not actively crying. Like we understand and we're with you. I'm getting a ton of crown chakra energy, and I feel like you or someone, if this is resonating with you, you have like no motive other than the motive to connect, I feel like, with Spirit, and the motive to give people what it is that they need, and to really, I feel like, elevate people into the 5D, to help them understand that what you see isn't all that is actually present or even visible. I also am led to think about that one chemical, starts with a D, and I always forget the name, but there's a chemical that was basically outlawed or banned or pulled, that you can, well, this chemical helps you see colors of the rainbow that the human eye is not designed to see. And for a long time, I was really fascinated with that, because I feel like, obviously, I've been connected to otherworldly things for a long time. But you could have had, really interests like that. Like, I want to see it. We're in the prove it society. We're in the, well, and unless it's material, I don't see it. That kind of a thing. And I feel like this could have led you to be a little bit more scientific than just spiritual. I mean, I say that like with tongue in cheek, just spiritual, but more scientific, because you do come from a lineage that's very brainy, very thought-provoking, very tangible. Like, they want to prove the tangibles. They could have been materialistic. as well. And so I feel like you are somebody who is definitely being acknowledged here as having, you know, the purple heart of the spiritual realm, if you will, or you know, like a medal, like you have a medal, like you're gaining medals, you're getting awards and things like that in the spiritual realm because of what you're doing. And again, I feel like this has everything to do with your purity of heart. I'm not saying that, you know, we don't want things in life and whatnot, but fundamentally, I feel like you are not here for your own self-interest. I feel like you want to do what's right, not who's right. I feel like you're somebody who definitely wants to take ownership and does of the things that they have done, because we all make mistakes, but hopefully the idea is to learn from them. But I feel like you could be a teacher, a mentor, just a figure that somebody looks for answers. You know, when somebody has a question and there's a room full of people and all eyes turn to you, you're that person. I didn't realize this reading was going to be so long, but I knew it was going to be a deep one. All right, one more here. Show me more about this. How did you detach, please? Okay. I'm taking these with the Three of Swords and the moving on. How you detach from the situation. And these cards were basically jumpers. You kind of heard the clack, and you saw the cards just want to come out. So I feel like it took a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of like even self-wounding emotionally to be able to leave the situation, because this weighs heavily on you. I feel like you don't make any move without like really thinking things through. And ultimately, I feel like what you did was you committed to source, to higher power, to whatever it is that is spirituality to you. And I feel like this could have broken your heart. It could have broken other people's heart with the Three of Swords here. So I do see that there is a lot of pain. But then we have the Six of Swords. This is moving on. This is my ultimate card of Titanic. Everything and everybody is sinking, and yet people are clinging to your boat, your raft, your light. And I feel like these people could have, like, even though they berated you and treated you poorly, and if that's your story, then I'm really so sorry about that. I quite understand how that feels. I'm going to say that these people also used you as a life raft, as like when they were down and out, as in when they needed something, if they need their ego stroked. And I don't know what the deal is. Maybe you perform duties, you help them financially, whatever the case is. But your presence was really relied upon for many, many things, operational things I'm hearing. And now it's a system, an operational system that's going on. And now they've, you know, obviously they've had a chance to see your light and like who you authentically are, even though they try to manipulate, maneuver, and utilize this for their own nefarious reasons. Now that you move on, I feel like they are clinging to your boat, clinging to you as a life raft, a lifeboat. Is there a lifeboat? I don't know. But I think that you're done. I think that you are done with old stories creeping up, old energies wanting to grab at you, wanting to latch onto you. These people could be people that want to latch onto your energy in order to manipulate and maneuver your power and your wisdom for their own benefit, or even making them feel safe, making them feel better. But whatever it is, I feel like that is over. And I feel like people are shook. What else do we need to know? Yeah, the Empress. So this could be a mother. This could be, yeah, a mother and maybe a little sister, or just, you know, regardless, it's family members. And I feel like this person is saying, you know what, I'm attached to the zombie. I am not going to change. So this person is attached to old ways of doing things. They're not going to change. It's like, yeah, you see me. This is how I'm rooted, and this is my daughter, and you are not going to tell me any differently. Even though she's a zombie, she can eat my face any minute. It doesn't make a difference. I feel like right now what is being brewed within them is a lot of internal battles, internal fighting, but that's leaked out into their external world. I feel like their legs could feel like they're cut off. They could feel chained and immobile, almost like, wow, you left like that, or you did this and disengaged, and now I don't have a way to do what I used to do. Like, I'm the matriarch. I'm supposed to be the boss of everything. I'm supposed to tell you guys how to move, how to maneuver, how to how to perform in this world, in other words. And I feel like you've taken that away, and they feel like, wow, I can't walk on my own feet. I don't know what to do. It's causing a lot of fights. Yeah, it's causing like, no, that's my foot. I guess they're fighting over one of his feet and things like that. So I think that this is a person that's digging into their story, their narrative, even though they know that this is wrong, that this is all about control, this is all about manipulation, this is all about I know best. This is all about titles. This is all about I'm your mother. This is how, you should respect that. And I guess my question to them would be like, well, then why are you not acting like a mother? Why are you acting so toxic? Why are you holding things that are decayed next to you? Things of old, things that should be long gone. This little girl, metaphorically should have been long ago buried and done with, because she is not living, and yet she is a danger and a toxic standard in your life. So I feel like this hand holding up, it's like, well, there's nothing wrong with me. You better hold up there, or they're not open whatsoever to you saying anything. And I feel like that could have been part of the parting of the ways. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of fights and battles around them. And the last thing I have for you before we get into the hope of the situation, sorry it was long reading, is the Ten of Swords. And this is about, I'm going to cut off everything that just is no good. I feel like this is like betrayal, actually. This is somebody cutting everything within themselves to make other people happy, because this person sees that they're surrounded by zombies, and zombies want what? Your energy. And I feel like they are reaching out, and it's like you at some point decided, okay, I've given you my guts, my glory, my arms, my legs. I've given you my spleen. What do you want? My liver? Like, here you go, take it. And everybody's just grabbing stuff from you. And at some point you're looking around and you're like, wow, I'm still alive. Huh. Well, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. And I feel like that's when you pulled back your energy. And this could be like quite the talk of the town, by the way. So let's get a little bit of optimism. I applaud you for leaving things that are toxic to you, and really you got to do whatever is healthiest for you. Mind, body, and soul. Protect your mind, your heart, and your energy at all costs. What do we have here? Gray. Learn to scan your body. And I feel like this is spirit teaching as well. So spirit actually taught me how to scan my body. And this sounds like really out there, but we're in it, so why not? So you could be, in a meditative state, or it could be helpful for you to really meditate. Hold your hands like that and just really ask spirit to scan your body and to really heal that DNA and those parts of you that are lacking, that are broken, those parts of you I heard that are missing. Those parts of you that are blocked, that could be something for you as well. And the next one I have is this one for you. Allow flow and synchronicity into your life. And so although I feel like your battle has been dark, it's been gloomy, it's been rough, I feel like I heard you're built for it. That's not really comforting, but I feel like you have a lot of, like with this orange stuff, I feel like you have a lot of beautiful things, a lot of things that are being created, or you're creating things around you that give you kind of a glow up, a show up, a transmutation, I heard, an ability to really connect with your higher divine source, divine power, God, spirit, without you being stolen from, okay? Your energy stolen from, your mind stolen from, your heart stolen from, and feeling manipulated and everything else. So that is what I have for you. I think that really great things are coming. The color orange is great to kind of picture and inhale if you're into those kind of therapeutic modalities that are a little bit out there, like me. Big surprise. Or, visualizing the color or wearing orange more often can be really powerful for you. With the number 1, that is your personal power coming back to you. And I feel like you're embodying more of you than you ever have before. The number 8 is all about your personal abundance. I hope that this helps. If you like this kind of reading, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Much love to you. Namaste. Hi, Pal 2. My name is Griselda Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading or burn the set down, whichever comes first. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit of Sagey Sage. That first read was pretty heavy, but I'm not surprised considering the topic. So, if you're liking these kind of readings, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. You have chosen the Magician. So the Magician, of course, we know that the Magician is the creator. The Magician kind of dreams and brings things down to reality. The great creator, inventors. Now, what I didn't tell you is that I attached the readings to some interesting components. So pile 2, you are attached to dynamite. And dynamite contains nitroglycerin, so sodium nitrate, and a combustible absorbent, or so Google says. But we're reading about family tree explosively, and that's why this is important. It's made up from an absorbent medium created in nitroglycerin, which is interesting to me. So what is being absorbed and saturated in this connection or in this family history? That's what we're about to find out. We've got the Knight of Cups attached to pile number 2 as well. And the Knight of Cups is, of course, part of the cup suit, but this is a lover. Somebody bringing good tidings, having a good time, feeling a little bit emotional. This could be also like a family that told you that you could do anything that you want, but didn't give you any practicals. Like you can just dream it and manifest it into being. A little bit like this Magician is manifesting that into being. Now, being part of the woo-woo family, the spiritual community, whatever it is that you want to call it. It's not unheard of for us to talk about manifestation. If you're here, you know that. This is making me crazy, so we're changing tactics here a little bit. But I'm going to say that in this case, that wasn't very helpful as far as, manifesting. I feel like you were given a little bit of a pass, kind of like, well, if you enter the pageant, you will win the pageant, that kind of a thing by sheer willpower. But there were no tools and nothing that went beyond those words to really help you through winning said pageant. And I don't know anything about pageants. I've never been in one. But it's just an example. So I feel like those tools could have been like really absent from you. And so family tree explosively. You could have had someone in your family really kind of obsessed with creating whatever it is that they're creating. They could have been building like a builder, building houses, building sheds, building creations. I don't know, something that has to do with mechanisms. And this kind of jumped. So the 3 machetes, that would be the 3 of swords. So this could be a reason that you maybe felt like isolated, abandoned, alone. Maybe you were given ideas, but not tools to dream, and you had to do it all on your own because perhaps I feel like this pile, there was a lot of like only child syndrome here. And when I say that, I have to rethink that because people generally, I feel like think, oh, you're an only child. Okay. You're an only child, so you must have gotten everything. And I think it's kind of amusing because depending on your family tree and how things shape up or panned out, basically, for me, being an only child I was just extremely lonely. And so for a long time, I just wanted, like a sibling. And I'm glad that never happened for, a lot of reasons. But you could have been an only child and had a distracted parent or a family working on a project or family working on, let's say there was a farm and everybody had their role in working the farm and you were too little. So you were left to your own resources of playing with a bucket, water, and a doll. I don't know. things like that. And so you were maybe like, oh, you're so beautiful, da da da, but you have to kind of stay here or do this while other people worked and kind of pursued building whatever it is that they're building. Nine of Cups. Yeah, I feel like people were chasing their dreams, going after their dreams. And we have the Ten of Pentacles, which symbolizes, of course, family. It stands for family. But right here, I feel like this could have made you into a bit of a dreamer. But also a dreamer that's like defensive, because you know that without practical steps towards this pageant, imaginary pageant we're talking about, you know, you don't have the dress, you haven't filled out your entry forms, you don't have the entry fee to get into it, whatever, never mind the hair, makeup, the clothes, or the walk, whatever. And I feel like you are comfortable, perhaps like really daydreaming, and that could be something. I just saw 555. I feel like that's something that is currently changing with those numbers popping up. You might want to look at angel number 555 as well. But this could have caused you a lot of heartache, because even with the clouds here and then the Three of Machetes, this could have been something that daydreaming or dreaming in general could have cost you. It could have cost you money, it could have cost you time, relationships, by not like putting the elbow grease in or the effort or being able to kind of materialize those in a practical manner, I'm getting. So with Dynamite, I feel like we're talking about the absorbent medium. Yeah, combustible absorbent medium. And I feel like that's you, because you were brought here in order to change things up, in order to rewrite the script, in order to flip the script, in order to have a different foundation from where you started. And the good part about that is that it's not that people necessarily meant harm. They could have. I don't feel like in this pile necessarily they did. But I feel like you were just isolated and things like that. And I think that that is beneficial to you, because it's helped you to dream, but also to help you to understand how you form your reality versus your dream and how to incorporate those into your life. I do feel like there is an element of how she is kind of wrapped up with a blankie, and I think she might be down in the dumps and fantasizing about being, I don't know, I heard Jamaica, but Hawaii or whatever, tropical, by the water. And yet she has, you know, her can of ammo and all sorts of fun stuff going on here. She's ready for a war, ready for the apocalypse, for lack of a better way of saying things. And so you could be somebody that is a homesteader that wants to, you know, create this life where you live off of your land and you grow your own produce and you have your own animals, things like that. You could be a prepper. I consider myself like an amateur prepper, but that's for another day. So, you know, you could be someone who kind of lives their life in a manner that you're going to have like medicines or resources, food, and things like that in order to help prepare in case there are none. That could be something, but you're thinking about better times and you're dreaming about better times, even though your actions are saying, okay, well, I'm preparing for, you know, hardship and this and that. But as long as I have like some form of preparation, I will be totally blindsided. But I feel like there has to do something with your voice, yes. So I feel like speaking your truth is going to be really important. The Six of Wands, the undead are victorious. It's official. No hope. You're on your own. And I feel like it's funny because this is what this reading has thus been so far. It talks about no hope. You are on your own. But, you know, I get that. By the same token, I really enjoy my time alone. Is it excessive? Yeah. It could be a bit much. But I feel like here it's just saying that you really need to focus on what is hopeful, because and maybe being isolated or living a life that is a little bit different than other people, that people don't really automatically connect with you, or that you, with your rifle here, have been pushing people away. I feel like there is a victory here, because the Six of Wands is about celebrating you, celebrating family, whatever that means to you, connections. I think that you are utilizing your voice, or you are meant to utilize your voice to bring you into a different reality, into a better place, into this vacation that you're trying to manifest by simply thinking about it. But also, I feel like the biggest thing is utilizing that blanket that she has, that safety blanket of kind of cocooning within that blanket in order to feel better, like self-soothing tactics, basically. But you can bring this victory about by utilizing your voice. And so basically you absorbed everything, and now it is time to kind of let go of things that no longer serve you. I feel like this is more emotionally than things around you, but it could be things around you that you need to let go of in order to grow, to flourish, and to move to a better place, a better state of mind. The Hierophant. So letting go of things can actually, if you're not in a committed situation right now, situationship, whatever that means to you, this can lead to a commitment, but this can also lead to committing to higher learning. I love this card, you guys. This is the coolest ever. Yeah, you need this deck if you're into decks. Okay, moving on. This is called the Zombie Tarot, and I use it quite often. So I feel like you're undergoing like what they would consider an air blast. This is after the dynamite detonates, and because you're the absorbent medium, you've taken a lot within you. This could have a connection to pile number 1 as well. But right now with the air blast and the aftershock, I feel like everything is silent. And I feel like around you, everything could be silent. There could be a feeling of inertia, a lack of movement, a lack of, almost like you could hear the leaves falling. And indeed, you could be somewhere where you see the leaves falling or hear them, depending on where you're at in the world. But I feel like that's very temporary. This is a time for you to heal. It's time for you to gather your bearings. It's time for you to self-analyze what it is that is productive, where it is that you want to head towards, and how can you utilize maybe even like the wounds and trauma of your past, because they have become strengths. How can you utilize these things as leverage to really manifest and encourage and provoke and be about the life that you want? And the High Priestess definitely has a connection to pile number 1. If you feel led to it, listen to that as well. And again, so sorry this reading wound up being longer. But I feel like with this High Priestess, I feel like you could be a little bit more of a shaman, somebody who can go into the underworld and root out and ferret out things that are deep, dark, and private that nobody ever would have thought of ferreting out. This could be somebody that doesn't necessarily have professional therapy, like a therapist, but I feel like you're an expert in brainiology. It's not even a word, but it is now. I'm going to make my own dictionary, by the way, someday, because, yeah, I love making up words. Anyways, this could be saying that even with here, I feel like this is like the jawbone, the mandible that broke off, expanded, and there's a fire pit within it. And there's a lot that you need to speak of. And maybe this is going to bring fire to other people, but this is pure truth. I feel like you are high-minded, sitting on top of your mind. I feel like you're connected to source for sure. I also feel like there's a lot of things that have gone by the wayward, that have left your life, that have incredibly transformed in the way that you thought it would, but it has left you with bare bones. Maybe you feel like you are in an era currently, or in a moment where things are destitute, like the aftershock. Like you could have perhaps maybe like you lost a home, you lost friends, family, you lost vehicles, pets, jobs, things like that. So you could be feeling in this aftershock that you are destitute, but really this is time for regrouping and celebrating the things that no longer are, celebrating yourself for the ability to make it through as far as you have gone, and seeing that you have nowhere to go but up from here. Things are getting better. I feel like you are becoming really authentic. I feel like, not that you weren't before, but I feel like you were hidden. Okay, there's an element of you being hidden. People don't really quite know who you are, what you're about, what you stand for. They catch glimpses. They might know perhaps that you're a gun owner, or they might know perhaps that you love blue blankets. I don't know. But they don't fundamentally understand that that blanket is meant to soothe you. And that blanket is chosen to be blue because you're not really speaking your truth. And that's a self-soothing mechanism that you've fallen back on. Being in this dynamic that you were in the past is not speaking your truth, not being verbal or verbose about what it is that you need. Yeah. And basically, I feel like understanding that you have a different life. So this is the same person. I feel like you've always gone within due to the isolation. Always been really connected, but I feel like only now you are emerging and showing people like who you really are, or your connectivity to spirit and things like that. And I think that is going to shock some people, because I feel like some of you guys have been viewed as, oh, she's so quiet, she's so sweet, he's so quiet, he's so nice, he's so helpful. Like, you've always been the one almost like playing supportive role when you're actually main character. And I feel like your main character energy is coming out now. And that is being celebrated by spirit. So I want to take a moment to pause and thank you for doing the hard work. Thank you for going within. Thank you for going into the depth of yourself and your own ish and examining it and owning things and discarding things that no longer are a part of you. Thank you for going into your mind and your heart and your spirit and connecting and looking at things in such a way that you can really grow and flourish and bring spirit and bring life and breathe life into people. I feel like you are also somebody who people can come to in order to diagnose mental, emotional, spiritual problems and issues. I also feel like you're somebody that you can see a spiritual connection into every physical ailment. Okay, now this is not like Western scientific facts. Obviously, I have much to say about that. We're going to move on from it. But this is more of a spiritual channel. And so I feel like you are somebody who can actually see if the eyes are vacant, the soul is vacant. If the eyes are full of life, then the soul is happy and embodying that body. You get the picture anyways. I personally believe, like, anytime that I've hurt myself, stubbed my toe, or I'm infamous for like twisting an ankle, especially growing up. I had weak ankles, and so I struggled with that. But it was always about, like, looking back on it now, think, okay, you're not on the right path. You're not on the right path because with your feet you're walking. And I designate everything, kind of dumb it down to make it easy for myself. And so if it's my right foot, this is where I'm headed. This is where I'm going. But if it's my left foot, I'm subconsciously magnetized there, and why. And so you want to look at different things like that if this is resonating with you. The Tower. So I feel like you could have recently come out of a period where you've like analyzed things about like what has gone wrong, what is dissolving in your life, what has been dissolved, maybe a marriage, a partnership, a friendship, any dynamics that were outmoded and not healthful and not growing, not thriving, anything that held you back and away from being your most authentic self. I feel like that is going away too. Okay, so you're definitely an observer. You are also somebody who could bring a tower moment to people because they don't understand how deep you are, and by the time they do, it's too late. They can't get out. And I mean that with all due respect. I feel like you might say things or that really like trigger people into their own kind of awakening, their own self-examination, their own self-questioning. Or I feel like for a lot of you guys, I'm hearing that it's like, Eureka, this is why, and I just got a surge of energy on my crown chakra, that you bring those moments to other people that is a light bulb moment, and they may not say it, but you could probably see it on their face. Another way that you can tell is that they run away from you. You could be scary to people, and I will embody that. So if that's your story, welcome to my channel. We have the Temperance here. I do feel like you are trying to really have some temperance about things, some balance. You are definitely a healer. You're not here to destroy, and that is not the point. But people act out of fear and don't really think beyond how they're feeling, so they react and run. And that's okay too. But the Temperance here is saying, is the medicine worse than the illness? Or is the illness worse than the medicine? And in this case, once again, because for me, medicine... we're talking spiritual medicine here, is examining what it is that made you bleed, what it is that needs to be bled, during the times that, they would use leeches or whatever to bleed people out for various different ailments way back when. But I feel like you cause people to look so deep that they're like, wow, this is a structure in my life and it's not healthy. But 99% of them keep going with it because they're used to it. Change is difficult. Change sucks. Let's be real about that. And they continue on their merry way, living unhappy lives, knowing that the structure is faulty and is making them unhappy. So you bring about the questions of, what if I change? What if I were to look at something different? What if I were to offload this responsibility that wasn't mine to begin with? What if I were to embrace my voice and go in this direction? What if I were to piss people off and do what it is that I need to do in order to fulfill my life purpose, whatever that is? I feel like you are actively manifesting, creating a new you, a new life. I heard a new sidekick. I don't know what that means to some of you. If anything, I've got the Nine of Hazards here. And this is Dead Mart. Interesting. Dead Mart. Look at the illustration. Yo, I love it. Anyways, but I think that, you are going to be looking at people who are alive in action, paying bills and doing things on autopilot, and people who are living their most authentic and genuine life, like from the heart, from spirit, and what makes them feel juicy, goosey, and loosey. I don't know where that came from, but whatever differentiates you from them. I feel like you're focusing on that, and you're giving people hope, you're giving people power, but also you're giving people an inkling that they can even, I don't want to say capitalize on this thing, but the same way that you can make money being robotic in life is very similar to how you can make money living your passion. And so this could be just like getting a side hustle going, or manifesting, whatever it is. Maybe people want to be like a personal trainer, or they want to be a painter. They want to teach people how to paint. They want to help out with, I don't know if I could say that word, DV, domestic V people that are needing help. So maybe there are charities and things like that you want to be a participant in. Whatever it is, I feel like you want to kind of bring this about in other people so that they examine, what is dead meat in my life, or I think of your dead meat and it's like, I'm coming after you. So this could feel like a personal attack on a lot of people, by the way. And I don't think that you are somebody who is deliberately attacking that, but you are simply a catalyst for what spirit is trying to do in these people's lives. That is not a comfort. Ooh, that is a confirmation. What? Yeah, 7 of Wands and the Sun. This is my all-time. Look with your eyes, friend. Look at this card. Is this not the coolest thing ever that you've ever seen? Like, ever. So look at the black sky. I feel like you could have come from, dark times. We talked about isolation, loneliness, things like that. But that is no longer the case. I feel like, you are seeing the sun, the light. I feel like you're getting confirmation with, yes, you are that person. You are even that helicopter that could fly and hover without its propellers moving. I feel like you are definitely somebody who is here to rescue other people. I mean, these zombies are about to walk off the building. Why? Because, there's no food, there's no fresh meat, and there's nothing else to do but just to walk in circles. And so I feel like maybe you are able to look and see through the windows of people's souls into their building, into their structure of how they're living, how they grew up, and how it could be so much better. You see the hope in people, you see the soul in people, and you can draw that into the present. I feel like you could be a mentor, a coach, or you could simply share your story in order to help people like manifest more love, more joy into their life, more meaning, honestly, because I feel like everything's so commercialized. We have taken the meaning out of everything. Like owning a home is, it's a beautiful thing, no shade, but it's really a structure designed to be owned by the banks again and again and again. So even if we, I heard bequeath that. Is that a word, bequeath that? And to our family members, if you give it to the wrong person, your home could be lost, and all of that work, that toil, that thing, that gift that you view as precious and beautiful and incredible, and it is, by the way, gets repoed by the bank through a foreclosure or whatever the case may be, and it gets sold once again. So it's almost like that product, the house, is designed to go back on the market many times to fulfill its use. And that's not really fulfilling ultimately. So I feel like you're somebody who pulls things out of people in order for them to see what is really meaningful for them and to help them fulfill that. Moving on. Seven of Wands, I feel like people can come at you and say, no, don't be talking like that. I can't be leaving my job. I can't leave my spouse. I can't, that's not the life for me. And that's perfectly fine. I think that you're like, when people freak out in front of you, you're like, oh my God, don't tell me that, and you kind of in mock horror imitate them as like, don't come near me. Stop. I'm freaked out or something like that. You could kind of make fun of it because you understand that, we're all fundamentally afraid of change, of embracing new ideas, and of looking, especially of looking within. And a lot of us that are in this, like a spiritual community, experience this like back the hell up, leave me alone, that kind of a thing. They, don't want any part of that, but you're definitely here to throw people a bone. I do feel like, the Seven of Wands is about self-protection and boundaries and, blocking things off if you need to, but it's also here to throw people a bone. You're like, I'm not going to come any closer. Calm down. Here's a bone. I don't need it anyways. I'm a zombie and I eat flesh. Why would I want a bone? But I'm going to throw you a bone because you haven't kind of elevated quite to this level. And we're expecting you to elevate into the 5D, into a new you, into the most powerful you that you possibly can be, but also into the happiest you. Okay, so let's do these cards. Secret language of color. Last words for pile 2. Oh. This one came out in pile 1. I know you have connection pile 1. And lemon, access innovative thinking. And the coral, allow flow and synchronicity into your life. You're starting to see a lot more of this in your life, by the way. And with the lemon, I think that, it could be something that makes your face pucker, but I think that even drinking lemon water right now would be helpful to you, by the way. Doing a cleanse, but accessing new thinking for you. With the 23, this reduces to 5. Again, a lot of changes in your life. The coral colors, orange, that is your sacral chakra. Things are about to heat up for you, my friend. Whether you're partner or not partner, it doesn't matter. It's going to heat up in a good way because I feel like type bonding that you're going to be experiencing is a type of bonding that maybe you've been waiting for a long time. Even if you're partnered, maybe something is a catalyst to where you're actually maybe doing like tantra sex or whatever, and you're looking deep into each other's eyes, or I don't know what you're doing, but basically good things are coming. Woo, no pun intended. This is not that kind of reading. So with that, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Grisela Psychic MD, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile 3. If you chose pile 3 with the 10 of Wands, then this reading is for thee. And we're reading about family tree explosively. Let's get a little bit of cleansing here going on. The other 2 piles were pretty wild, and they wound up being really long reads. I'm sure you can tell. So if you're even here, thank you. And I do know it's a bit much. I'm trying. We have the 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands is about carrying burdens that don't belong to you. Maybe they belong to other people. Maybe you inherited these ones, these duties, these things that you do, these burdens, but they're no longer yours. Maybe they just got dumped. Maybe you, out of habit, you picked up more burdens. For example, being at work and you're used to taking care of things. And so you're the go-to for people to dump problems on because you're the problem solver. That would be me, by the way. So this could manifest in many different ways. Oh my goodness. How did I not notice this? And I did pre-pick this card. So we have the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Brooms. Same thing. I didn't notice that. So family tree explosively, one thing I did not mention attached to these readings for pile number 3 is C4. And C4, if you don't know, I didn't know, is a plastic binder combined with explosive chemicals, which is quite interesting to me. And this is referencing your family of origin or family of choice, how you grew up spiritually or professionally, however this fits. But I feel like it could be two different families for you. It could be family of origin and maybe a work family is what I'm getting strongest. Look at that. So we're going to go ahead and explore what is the plastic binder, the structure in this relationship. It's the first question we're going to ask, and we're going to find out more about this. What is the plastic binder, the structure in this C4 relationship, please? Help us understand. Family tree explosively for pile 3. Pile 3, show me now. I'm going to get 2 cards. Okay, yep, has to do with money. The Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. Let's see how we can put these here. So I feel like what binds these elements together, these explosive chemicals together, is the Knight of Pentacles, is somebody, it could be you, who wants to move, to build a structure, to throw in their lot with other people, to join something that's established, something that you see potential in that's growing and flourishing. That's one possibility. I feel like that would be the work possibility. This could also be somebody who has been taught to really work hard, like work harder, not smarter. That would be my motto, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm of that cloth, okay? Don't judge me. But the Knight of Pentacles here. So Knight of Pentacles is definitely somebody who's slow moving. They have thought about all the ins and outs, how to approach it, how to do, what they're willing to give as far as like their investment. For example, this Knight can be saying, I'm only going to give money and I'm going to see how this goes. And I'm going to give a certain amount of money. It could be like $500 to this project. And I'm going to look and see how things turn. Does it help? Is it going to show more promise? And then I'll look at investing more. But the Knight of Pentacles is very methodical about what they're going to invest with. This is not the person that's all in, okay? So this is somebody very tempered. They know their worth. They know what makes them feel secure is just offering a little bit at this point in time. Now, the other element, the other plastic binder is this Queen of Pentacles. This is somebody who's already set up a structure. This is somebody who's saying, see, this is interesting. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. See, look here. I have a coin. I'm telling you, it produces. This is how it goes. This is how abundance is had. This is how it's won. This is how to function. And she's saying, see, look at this coin, but her own eyes are closed. Interesting, right? And I feel like this is a structure that is functioning on what was handed down to them as far as hereditary, you know, your hereditary knowledge, like this was given from grandparent to parent, from parent to child, from child to, you know, whatever, their children, and so on and so forth. So I feel like what's binding you is old habits and ways that you haven't taught, like structure is binding you in some way, which is really interesting because most of us think that structure is good. But I feel like in this way, oh, this structure is holding you back, my friend. Okay, so with the Ten of Wands, what's happening is that you think that everything could be structured, yes, but you are so structured that now you're like, well, give it to me, I can do it better. Let me just have it, I'll do it better. Just forget it, I'll do it, I'll take care of it. And it gets to a point where nobody else can do it except you because you've taken on those burdens. Another scenario could be that everybody sees you as a fixer. Well, this person knows how to solve it. This person knows how to fix it. They could do it better. They could do it best. In my world, the eyeglass world, I guess you could say, I work for an optometrist, and in there we do, we do repairs if it's something that can be repaired. We work with liners and small tools and self-tapping screws and tools that clasp, clamp, twist, whatever. And in my world, this is something that they could be giving a drill mount, like the glasses that are held by 3 different parts. We call them 3-piece drill mounts. And these are so lovely to put together. I'm being sarcastic. It's not my favorite, and my repair season or my repair patience has waned. That phase of my life is kind of gone. The charm is worn. So I'm not the it person for that. So if it's something to put things together like that, can I do it? Absolutely. Can I do a great job? Absolutely. Do I want to? I have unburdened myself from that because I have somebody, I'm lucky I have a coworker who really enjoys those kind of puzzles. She likes them. I let her do them, and I'm grateful, and she's happy, and we're both happy. When she starts feeling disgruntled or overwhelmed or overburdened, I take on other duties to help her facilitate that time that's going to take her to do those things, give and take, whatever. But in other words, that would be an example of unburdening yourself, of saying, this isn't working. What will work? How can I compromise? How can I change my fortune so that I don't feel burdened? I don't feel stuck with everything. It's like almost like people preparing to go on a trip to the beach or the pool or whatever, and they're all gathering their bathing suits and are all excited and packing food and snacks and towels and sunblock and whatever gear they have to pack. There's all this frenzy of people around you packing all those things, and you're left with a burden of taking care of the household, or how is this going to get from A to B? How am I going to, maybe you don't have a car and you have to plan it all out. And oh my gosh, look at how much these people are packing. And I got to figure out, do I have to rent a bus? Do I have money? Do I have the resources? I have to put this together. And how many stops? And we have little kids. And do we have enough diapers? Are they packing it? Do we have trash bags in there so that we don't make a mess? And so you're left with all the fine details. But my friend, you don't have to. The example I gave you with the glasses, you can do as well. So, I would look at people's strengths, and obviously you're very strong, but look at other people's strengths as well, or the ability or willingness to learn, or the need to learn. Take your pick. But there is an element of trainability. Other people can be trained to lift some of your burdens. And frankly, if you're doing people's laundry that are teenagers and things like that, it's time to drop that load literally on the floor. Allow them to experience, I have no underwear, and the crisis of that. And what's that going to bring? I mean, I don't know. My response would be, well, there's a washer, this dryer, go at it. And if that's not going to work, and if they don't get it, then I guess they'll be wearing underwear sideways, inside out, upside down, or none whatsoever until they figure it out. That's a really horrible example. Even this guy's ashamed of my example, but yeah, you're welcome. So Temperance, you're back. You're meant to bring balance, okay? The reason why you are so pressed, so crushed under duty, let me provide for this person, let me provide for that person, let me take on, I don't know, I heard their resources, let me take on their responsibilities, and you're dumping it all in your lap. Or if you're not, by the way, you're definitely saying yes, because if people bring by things for me to do to my desk, and my response is just leave it here, I'm accepting the contract. I'm accepting the assignment. And I do that to myself, by the way. So this is meant to bring the tide into a better place for you. This is for you to unburden, letting things go of what no longer serves you, of always being the yes person, of bringing balance and temperance back into your situation. Maybe you're the person that everybody dumped on growing up. Parents inappropriately came in and told you all their problems, told you your financial problems, their romantical problems, everything. And, or you were the one left fixing, and you're like, well, it's okay. I can cook, I can pick that up, or I can do that, when it's really the parent's role. So as time evolved, you were known as the fixer. This is my fixer pile, by the way. So the plastic binder that combines, there's a need in all of this. And I feel like ultimately you are the plastic binder. And so it's time to kind of let those things go. Let go of things that you think you need to do. Re-examine, make a list of all your duties, all the things that you accomplish and that you do for the family, for the workplace, whatever. And then start, with the Three of Machetes and start eliminating, okay, this is not something I can do. This is not my responsibility. This is not what I need to do. Other people are capable of handling this part of it. And so, yeah, with the 2 10s, I definitely feel like it's family and it's work. So you might be exhibiting this behavior and burnout both in your family line, where it's like, man, they keep asking me and I'm like burdened. I'm exhausted by counseling all these people, by telling them this is how you can make it better, and they don't listen. They go back to doing whatever it is they're doing, and that's their choice, right? But we're taking it on as a project, a mission, and you're the fixer, and that should not be. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Is that 10 of Pentacles? That's a 9. Oh, it looks like 1-0. Anyways, but this is about being okay in your own skin, doing things independently. This is the 9 of Pentacles is about embodying yourself. And that doesn't mean, you know, adding clothes and layers that don't belong to you. That stuff is being shed and thrown out. So if you have people giving you roles, for example, like, oh, go to Connie or go to, you know, whatever, Ellis, and they're the fixer. They know how to do this. And I think that you're going to politely decline. One friend taught me it's good to say no thanks, and you're going to be the no thanks person in order to make yourself healthy, in order to help you enjoy what it is that you've created thus far, in order for you to even prosper. Because I feel like there's an element of your prosperity is being held back with the burdens of many. So the more that you clip away and hand over the burdens back to other people, they can do whatever the hell they want with those things. The more you're going to embody this personal power, I heard majestic, the more you're going to feel calm and tuned with what it is that you have. You're going to feel prosperous and bring about more abundance, the more you're going to enjoy your life. And that's why we're supposed to be here anyways, is to enjoy life, I think. I feel like this will connect you higher too, not only your prosperity, but spirituality. Ace of Brooms, it will bring back your mojo. If you're feeling listless, exhausted, feeling like everything is a dumpster fire, it is time to let that stuff burn away, because the wheel is turning for you. There's healing to be had. It is very medicinal to allow people to suffer the consequences of their own actions or inactions. The example with the laundry, you know, they're going to take it or leave it, and that's going to be their consequence. If they're smelly, going to school all smelly, or, you know, having issues with that, that's their problem, and they're going to have to deal and understand. So you're going to allow the natural consequences to follow action or non-action. And that's going to put you in a very great state. You could be seeing 999. That could have a special meaning for you. I feel like whereas once you were the dumping grounds for everything and everyone, you're going to protect your energy. Even this person is crossed his arms over his chest and saying, no más. Ya no voy a estar más cosas de la gente. No voy a aceptar más. I'm not going to accept anymore things from other people. I've had my fill, and I'm going after my 9 of Cups. I'm going to go after my personal power, what makes me feel secure, what makes me feel balanced. And I'm going to allow other people to deal with their own responsibilities. I heard, or you get the chancla. The Ace of Machetes. Yeah, so you're gaining clarity. You're gaining clarity as to what has been perhaps stealing your energy, what has been bombarding you. I heard, I don't know where to start. And you start at the beginning. You start with what's on hand now, what's on your plate now, what has been dumped on you currently that you don't need to take on. You start with handing people their own responsibility back to them. And you can do it nicely. You can say, yeah, I don't have time. Here you go. Sorry, I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the energy. Yeah, I can't take care of this, but you might want to take care of that quickly before, you know, XYZ happens or whatever. Ace of Cups, you can do it with love. You can hand back responsibility and know that, honestly, this is, maybe you're into the the rescue, I don't know, the rescue type. Maybe you're like a rescuer and you're constantly rescuing people from their fate or from the hole that they're crawling in. It's nonstop rescuing. I think about that video that I saw. It was a video about this machine that they had built, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was kind of walled off by plexiglass so people could see the machine. And the machine's only job was to keep the oil in it, and the oil kept spilling, and it would just go around frantically scooping oil towards them. And eventually, I mean, it's like, you're not going to win. You're not going to win if you continue trying to fix other people's problems, but also you're stealing from them the ability to learn, the ability to upgrade, the ability to elevate, the ability to have self-esteem. So think about that, my friend. And this is done with love. So when you're giving people back their own problems, their own issues, their own burdens, you're not being mean at all. You're finding your own fire within, your own, like, yay, I get to wake up this morning and I have like 3 things to do versus 33. But this is giving people back their own life so that they can form and shape it however they want to and need to. You won't be around for them forever. And that's important to know, because now you're giving people the tools to be able to deal with their own ish. Otherwise, if you take tools away from them, how are they going to know how to drive a car, how to build anything, how to do anything for themselves? It doesn't make sense. So know that in giving things back to people, these burdens, you are quite giving them love. I saw the number 1818 on the camera. This is a high priestess. I feel like this is going to connect you even more with source, with spirit. I feel like it's going to re-energize you. It's going to be a balm for your heart. I feel like you've been stressed because of this paradigm, because of how this has been. Maybe you will even receive an apology, but a sassy apology. If you have young ones at home, they could be like, this could sound like this. Well, gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Or a roll of the eye. I picture a 14-year-old rolling their eye, like, whatever. But what they don't know is this is a saving grace to teach character, to teach boundaries, to teach routine. Now, the binder and the C4 that really combined you, not only was that you holding things together, but I also feel like for people around you, it was holding their secrets, maybe their shame, their guilt. It was holding a facade that people around you were trying to create, like keeping up with the Joneses. That could have been an issue. But it also could have been like obligation dumped on your lap, expectation, like saying a grandparent says to you, well, that's your parent. You have to XYZ. You have to do that. And out comes the King of Pentacles. So this could go maybe to your father. It's like, well, you have to listen to your father. You have to put up with that because he's your father. When in reality, this person is preoccupied. And if they want to be a father, they have to act like it. Okay. So it's not about a title. That's like getting a title at work and no pay raise, or a title at work with no pay raise, no respect. Right? You can't just have a title and not fulfill it. If you're labeled manager, people expect things out of you. You're going to manage. If you are a doctor, you're going to doctor. If you are, I don't know, a fisherman, people expect you to go fishing, catch some fish. So equally, if you are a parent, people need to act like a parent. And I feel like you were the glue holding this thing together, because you allowed them to hold that title, even though they didn't earn it. And certainly they didn't like uphold that. Yep. This is like a sperm donor. I'm sorry, but that's what I'm feeling right here. This person kind of did their thing. You could have been raised by grandparents or other people. You could have raised your... I raised my own damn self, and I recognize that as well. The 3 of Cups. Let's see what this is. I think that there's great happiness in relieving yourself from those bonds that tie you down and eventually do explode. With the Three of Cups, I feel like somebody's saying, like, finally somebody's articulating what I've always felt in my heart. Like, this parent wasn't a parent. They were an absentee parent. They were busy chasing women. They were busy earning money. They were busy with their own projects. They were never there to begin with. So in parent, they weren't even there as a provider for some of you. Even though this person seems to be chasing coin, it could have been some of you. It was such a dysfunctional system that they were chasing money only to spend it on wine, women, and dancing or whatever. You get the point, okay? So show me what I need to see. Why are these cards here, please? I feel like you have learned a lot of lessons. By the way, with the 10, it reduces to a 1, obviously. And with the 2 10s, 10 of Wands, and both decks that you got, we've got 2 plus 2 and 2 plus 2, Chriselle. 1 plus 1 is 2. We don't math on this channel, okay? Don't judge me. But with the number 2, I feel like that's your personal power. That's how you balance things out, and you're bringing balance back into your life. You look, yep, you're looking at things differently. You're looking at things as this Hangman right here. And you're coming out guns blazing. This person has a gun in one hand, and he's almost like taunting people with the other. And you're just kind of like, you know what? I know what makes me feel solid. I know what I'm dealing with. It's what I'm dealing with. I feel like you're dealing with a dynamic that was insidious, by the way. And actually, bottom of the deck, we're taking that as well. You can have an interest in pile number 1. I do know that these readings are really long, and I'm trying, but this is just how this one came out. So we're going with it. I apologize. But with the Star, I feel like you are a very healing person. You're looking at things really differently. I feel like you're looking at things from a whole different angle and thinking, hey, you have a title. Have you met up to that title? Hey, you know, you say that you're this, but are you really this? And I think that you're looking beyond illusion, beyond titles, beyond status quo and expectations. And you're getting to nitty gritty, and you're kind of done with that, and you're blowing things apart, for lack of a better way of saying it. I feel like you could be somebody who really likes to look at stars as well. But I feel like also you are somebody who is well decorated, well acknowledged, well thought of in your community, wherever it is that you are at now. You also could be putting to bed, putting away, and putting to dead old, outmoded energies like this. You are... I feel like you're acknowledging, yeah, I've been the steady Eddie. I've been the one that everybody relies on. I've been the one that really brings it. If they say they're going to do, they're going to do. And everybody relies on me for this. But when I need somebody to do, nobody is there. When I need an ear, nobody's there. When I need somebody doing my laundry, they're all gone. And I feel like you are setting the world on fire by allowing the cracks to show. You're not playing the game anymore. You're not saying, yeah, this is my father, when this person was absent in womanizing and chasing, or, you know, constantly chasing a degree and had no time but just to study and do their own thing. That's still an abandonment, emotional abandonment. So you're allowing things to be as they really truly are, not caring if it gets exposed into the world. Not caring if people see things for what they really are. And I think that you are being embraced and loved and adored and maybe even upheld for who you really are. I feel like you've been hidden for a long, long time under the burdens of other people. And my battery is low, so lucky you. This is the end of the read. Let's get one last card here. Oh, the cherry. So live an extraordinary life. Yes, you're going to live an extraordinary life. You owe it to yourself to be happy, to enjoy yourself, to live for your own purposes as well, and to bring back to humanity what it's lost in expectations. You know, you're bringing back the tangibles. Like if I say who I am, this is who I am, then I'm going to live this. And you're not allowing fakes and phonies around you any longer. So that is what I have. I think with this cherry, this is like the cherry on top. I feel like you're doing really well. And if not, you're on the verge of something really, really big. You could even be getting a raise or be well decorated some way, somehow. Elevated is what I'm hearing. Okay, with that, much love to you. Namaste.